This video is how to divide two-digit divisors and make connections to written method. What that really means is we're starting to look at word problems and identify equations from there. So let's look at the first problem. In a 77-kilometer relay race, each of the 22 team members runs an equal distance. How many kilometers does each member run? One of the things that's really helpful when we have a division problem like this, or to even identify it as a division problem, is to draw a picture to see what the question is asking. So to do that, I'm going to start with a number, and I'm going to look at this as I have a relay race, and it is 77 kilometers long. And there are 22 team members running an equal distance. So what I'm really doing is I'm breaking down this length into 22 different sections. Okay, and it's going to continue throughout this entire area. And I want to find out how much each piece is. And that helps me realize, okay, I'm dividing 77 by 22. Okay, when I go to solve this, I'm going to write it as I would with my division problems. 77 divided by 22. And remember, one of the first things we're going to do is write that decimal. Okay, 22 goes into 77 3 times. 22 times 3 is 66. 77 minus 66 is 11. I'm going to bring down my decimal, and I'm going to bring down a 0. Remember, I have 0 tenths. And 22 goes into 110 5 times. 22 times 5 is 110. And subtracting that, we have 0. So I know that in this relay race, each of the team members is going to run 3.5. 3.5 what? I need to remember my units. 3.5 kilometers each. Okay, let's try another problem. A vial contains 14 7/10 of a milliliter of serum that is then split into 21 tiny containers. How much serum is in each new container? Again, start by drawing a picture. My picture looks like this. I have a larger container that starts with 14 7/10 of a milliliter of the serum. I then have 21 smaller containers that this is going to go into all of those. Okay, again, I'm looking at this as a division problem. So that with this division problem, I have 14.7, or 14 7/10, divided by 21. Again, starting with that decimal right away. Now, I don't know exactly what 21 goes into, but I do know that it doesn't not go into 14, so I'm going to start with my 0. Okay, I'm going to estimate to try to solve this. If I dropped the 1, I can look at this and say 2 goes into 14 about 7 times. So let's try 21 times 7 and see where that gets us. Okay, 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 tens is 140. And it does bring me to where I need to be. So 21 times 7, or rather in this case, 21 times 7/10 is exactly where I need to be. Okay, I can then check my work. Okay, 21 times 7/10. Don't forget the decimal. 7, 14, and I have 1 decimal here, and 14.7. Once again, do not forget to label your answer. It's not just 7/10, it's 7/10 of a milliliter, and that's your solution. Let's try one more problem. The surface area of a rectangular piece of construction paper is 140 25 of a square inch. If the paper's length is 17 inches, what is the width? Again, we're going to start with an image. In my picture, I drew a piece of white construction paper, and the area inside of it is 140 25 hundredths of a square inch. Okay, remember our formula shows us that the area of something is the length times width. of a rectangle, excuse me. If I know that the length is 17 inches, I'm looking for the width. And we're going to keep that in mind as we move forward. We're going to start by filling the values into the formula that we already have. So the area is 140.25, which is the same as the length, which is 17 inches, times the width, which we don't know. So our goal is to get the width by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by 17 to get it alone. So this is another way of saying 140 and 25 hundredths divided by 17 is our width. So let's move this to the side. And let's try it. We're going to write the division problem the same way that we normally do, 140 and 25 hundredths divided by 17. Don't forget the decimal. I don't know how many times 17 goes into 140, so I'm going to estimate, and then I'm going to round 17 to 20, and 140 I'm looking at as 14 divided by 2, and that's 7. So let's try 17 times 7. And 17 times 7 takes me to 119. Now I know that 17 can go into that at least one more time. So we're going to try 17 times 8 and see if that gets me closer. 136, and that does. So we're going to start with 8, and then 136. Don't forget your decimal. And we'll have 4 and bring down the 2. Now 17 goes into 42 twice, and I know that that is 34. Okay. 42 minus 34 is 85. And I'm going to estimate again with the 20, rounding 17 to 20, excuse me. So we'll do 17 times 4, because 20 times 4 is 85. Okay, and that gets me 68, and that's not quite where I need it to be. Oops. So we'll try another 17, which gets me to 85, which is right where I need to be. So 8 and 25 hundredths of an inch is my width.